the beginning of time, man quickly realized that knowledge is power. It is one of the main purposes of life. Gain knowledge and pass it down for future generations to come. Modern systems of education are close relatives to the schools of Europe around the 16th century. Not much has changed in the past 5 centuries, other than the sizes of classrooms. It is dire time for a change, but no one knows what direction we should head in from where we are now. With the rapidly growing evolution of technology, a vast amount of people see online education as the next step in learning, but it has many pros and cons, just as anything does. Throughout this whole COVID-19 pandemic, students all over America have been forced to deal with online education, whether they enjoy it or not. One great benefit of online learning is that students can go at their own pace. In a classroom, if a student does not understand something, a majority of the time, they don't speak up due to them not wanting to feel silly in front of all the other students. Online education also gives students the ability to go at their own pace. If they do not understand something, they can just simply ask the teacher or go look up a video going more in depth over the topic that they're currently learning. Possibly everyone's favorite thing about online education is that it gives students the freedom that they've never had before. Students are able to take advantage of the versatility offered by online education. For the main part, assignments are posted at the beginning of the week, and students are given 1 week to complete those assignments. Students get to choose when to complete those assignments, whether it's early, all at once, spread out during this whole span of a week, or just the last day before an assignment is due. Another amazing factor about the flexibility of these online classes is that students have the ability to work while completing these courses. This is a perfect way for students to make a little cash on the side to help them and assist them on their journey of education. Overall, online learning teaches students a great deal of time management skills. While online education sounds great, there are just as many negatives as there are positives. To start off, not everyone has great time management skills or can handle the responsibility of completing assignments without a teacher 10 foot up there. From the word on the street, freshmen and sophomores are having the hardest time actually doing their work and turning it in. While on the topic of students not doing their work, online education also allows students to excel in a class without doing their own work. Since the start of this pandemic, Snapchat stories have been filled with "who has the answers to this?" or "I'll pay you however much money to complete this assignment for me." And on top of all this, almost all assignments can be found online if a student digs hard enough. And having a lock on a computer does not change this. For the most part, most students have a supercomputer in their hands. And even if they don't have one of those, they have a computer nearby to where they could just look up the question that could have been assigned. The last and possibly worst thing about online education is simply not having other students or teachers around. Students learn from each other and sometimes better than they do from other teachers. For the most part, students' minds work similarly. So whenever someone does not understand something, students can often explain concepts or even better help clarify stuff. On top of this, when a student raises their hand and asks a question, that could have possibly been a question on another person's mind. If a student does not have a teacher nearby, they possibly need to ask them something over an email. Some teachers may be able to respond to this email over just a few minutes, or others it might take a while to hear back from them. And in this time, a student could possibly lose motivation on an assignment or even just completely lose track where they are. While online education has a ton of perks, it does not quite live up to what the next step of education is that we require. Personally, a blend of these two types of learning would be perfect. 2 to 3 days of in-class work would be just the right amount. This way, a teacher could spend the first 2 days of every week teaching students the new materials that they require for the rest of the week. Then assign a couple of assignments for the students to complete over the next few days, and finally, on that following Friday, class would be resumed in the classroom. The objective of this day would basically be a knowledge check and a review over the past 2 days of material, and the teacher could answer any questions that the students possibly have on the past couple assignments. This would allow students to get the freedom they desire while also counteracting the main negatives of online education. Although COVID-19 is a horrible situation, there just might have been a little bit of good from it. Online education has been tried by nearly every school in the country. Students have mixed emotions about it just as well as teachers do. This is an experience that has allowed everyone to get a taste of what might be a new way of learning. In the end, though, nothing is going to please everyone, and it'll be more likely a personal decision. Online classes classroom or even something new that we've never even heard of. The important part is that it does not matter how it is done, just that the learning is done effectively. Thank you.